Hi everyone, I'm Shauna Randolph, Edmonton Humane Society spokesperson, and welcome to your January-February 2013 Edmonton Humane Society podcast show. And we are bringing you this show from our wonderful shelter that is located in Northwest Edmonton, and we have a very packed show for you. This is a very quick running half an hour for you. Coming up in this month's show, preventing cabin fever in your pets. We'll have valuable tips from one of our behavior specialists to have fun with your pet indoors during the cold winter months for their physical and mental well-being. Also coming up, a success story from Valentina, who we also called Tinytina when she was in our care. This beautiful cat came to us almost starving to death about a year ago, and we have a visit from her and her adoptive mom. You will meet them both. But first, our hot topic of the month, concentrating on pet stores selling puppies and kittens in our area again. We had made strides a couple of years ago convincing local pet stores to get out of the business of selling puppies and kittens, but we learned right before Christmas it's happening again in stores in West Edmonton Mall and Londonderry Mall. Our CEO, Stephanie McDonald, is particularly disturbed about this, mainly because pet stores are known for getting puppies that are potentially from puppy mills. We hear now more from Stephanie and her concerns. Stephanie, this is very disturbing, isn't it?
It absolutely is, Shauna. And actually, I think a different word is really disappointing. When you have an organization come to you and make really amazing promises on behalf of animal welfare for our community, and then we shout from the rooftops just on how great it is that Edmonton is really embracing animal welfare, and then to really have it kind of flip around just before Christmas really rubs a little bit of salt in the wound.
Oh, for sure, yeah. There was a big announcement, a joint announcement, and now, our perspective is here we go again.
Well, that's it. And, we've spent a year of really not talking about this conversation in our community. I mean, I think that it's important that all communities should be aware that purchasing from a pet store is, yes, the animals are incredibly cute. There's no question about that. But there is a responsibility to know where things come from. And I think that we're more socially conscious in the world now. And there's a responsibility to know not just animals, but just where anything comes from and how does it get to your home and how does the animal or even clothing, for example. So there's a lot of talk about, how are low-cost clothing being created? And there's a social conscience. I think people need to really be aware. It's just not a matter of being in the stores. How did they get there? And we need people to ask that question. So these animals, which are what they call pure blood, which, if you're not reading and you're a fast reader like I am, and you'll go, oh gosh, I'm getting a purebred dog, when really it's just pure blood. Or, you've mixed all the really designer breeds together, and it's really, really compelling when you go into a pet store and say, oh geez, I'll pay $2,000, but what do you get for that $2,000? Know where they came from. So, the mom and dads aren't there. They're in the store. They're not for sale. The puppies are. But where are the mom and dads? Are they making litter after litter? Are they in horrible conditions? Nobody knows that. So, if you want a designer breed or you want a purebred or you want something like that, really go to responsible breeders. That's where we want you to go.
And do responsible breeders supply to pet stores?
No, never, never. A responsible breeder absolutely will never supply to a pet store. They want to know who's taking their animals. They want to establish a guarantee. So if you're having some difficulties, most breeders, all reputable ones, will always take the animal back. And circumstances happens in people's lives. We get that. We all understand that. So it's just very, very sad for us that we now have to talk to the community a bit more and really elevate the awareness again that don't choose a pet store, choose a reputable breeder, choose a rescue group, choose the Humane Society. Make your decisions based on the full story. Don't just take what's in the window.
And don't take what the people in the pet store are saying, because with this particular chain, they have been saying publicly, well, we've seen pictures of where they've come from, but we haven't yet gone down to the location. So they themselves had admitted that they hadn't been to the location of where these dogs have been bred.
Right, and the challenge for us as the Edmonton Humane Society is they're not going to be in Edmonton. So where are the breeders, that the so-called breeder that are supplying to the stores? We don't know that. And, again, you hope that you can take people's word as gospel, and it certainly isn't.
And we just want to remind people that you can get beautiful purebreds like this lovely Lucy here from the Edmonton Humane Society or even other rescue groups.
That's correct. From our perspective, actually a lot of the pet store animals, because they have so many genetic problems or medical problems or health problems or behavioral problems, end up in the long run, once they're adults, they're back in our care, because most often the pet stores don't take them back, and they don't want to take them back because really they want the puppies in the window. They don't want the adults in the window. So they're not going to, where are they going to put them? So, at the end of the day, the humane societies and rescue groups will absorb the irresponsibility of that.
So bottom line for our viewers.
Don't go to a pet store. Make your decisions wisely, ask questions, figure out where the animals are coming from, put a social conscience to your decisions.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Shauna.
And now, as part of our monthly success story section, a visit from a cat that really touched so many hearts here at the Edmonton Humane Society. We called her Valentina. She came to us almost starving to death. Here's the story with that. It was at the beginning of 2012. Tinytina, as we called her, was near death. She had been left in an apartment. Her previous owner thought, with all the hustle and bustle of moving, that she slipped out a window or the apartment door and then wandered off. Nobody ended up in the apartment for about 3 weeks, and when the landlord finally re-entered, she was on her side, almost dead. Our medical experts were able to nurse her back to health, and it was touch and go at one point. After going into foster care, she gained enough strength and weight to be placed up for adoption. And the wonderful lady who adopted her, Cindy Jones, joins us now with Tina here as a bit of a reunion for us at the Edmonton Humane Society. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Shauna.
Thank you so much for bringing her in.
You're very welcome.
So it's been several months since you adopted her.
Yes, it has.
Many, many months. How is she doing?
She's doing wonderful. She's fitting in very well with the other cats. Her fur is gorgeous. And she's a really, really good cat.
And she looks really completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw her when she first came in and did the videotaping of how just skinny she was. And it's just so wonderful to see her. And you mentioned the other cats. I do have to say that Cindy has a few other cats adopted from the Edmonton Humane Society.
Yes, I have 5 other cats and a rabbit.
And she does really well. She just kind of tolerates you, say, for the most part, but she fits in well with your family.
She tolerates us very well, yes, she does.
Cindy, I want to take you back to when you first heard about her. What inspired you to come out and be the one to adopt her?
Because no one else was. And I just felt so sad. It was such a sad story. Being left alone in the apartment and almost death. Oh, here, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was just so sad. I felt, well, I know I could give her a good home. I know I could, and I just came down and just adopted her.
Yeah, because she was up for adoption for a little bit before people, like yourself, came down, fell in love with her. And that's very common with black cats here. For some reason, even if they have a wonderful, exceptional story, although all animals here have their own story, but many of them are overlooked, and she's a jewel to you, isn't she?
She is. She very much is. And I have 2 other black cats. And black cats are just the best cats. Best cats.
So
we love her.
Yeah, and she is just. Again, this is just very big for us because she was near death, and you've just really given her the true second chance. Tell us why you adopt from the Edmonton Humane Society.
They need a home. These poor cats need such a good home, and I'm such a pet lover. My husband can attest to that. Just any pet, any commercial on TV, it's just, I'm ready to start crying. And I just love animals so much. And all the pets that are brought here, surrendered, strays, cases like this, I just love them to death. And I could just give them such a good home.
So I gather that's a message you would give to all of our viewers too,
yes,
hey?
Exactly. Very much so.
Yeah.
You could have 1 cat, 2 cats. What's the 3rd cat? Or 6 cats.
Especially for 6.
What's another cat?
And the big thing is we have so many always here at the Edmonton Humane Society looking for a home, needing a home. And you make a big difference, as well as all the people that adopt from the Edmonton Humane Society.
For sure. And the worst thing is I have to drive by the Humane Society twice a day, on the way to work and on the way home from work. And it's very, very difficult not to stop in.
But you know your limit.
I know my limit. My limit is 6.
I cannot collect them. Well, Cindy, thank you so much. I see the
Shauna.
joy they bring you, and we are so thankful you brought her in. We really wanted to follow up on Valentina, as we call her, and Tina, as you do.
Valentina.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Shauna.
And here are a few other success stories with happy endings. A guinea pig who came to us with a growth on her head, and a shepherd mix whose paw was caught in a trap. Both went through some successful surgeries. Here's those stories for you now. This is Henry, the one-year-old shepherd mix who came to the Edmonton Humane Society after being found as a stray north of Edmonton. The poor guy's little foot had been caught in a trap and his toes mangled. To top it off, for some reason, his head was continuously tilting to the side and still is. Our medical staff members have been working at solving the mystery around it, whether it's a neurological issue or perhaps an inner ear infection. As for the foot, off to surgery Henry went to have the remaining toes amputated in order for him to have any chance at a good quality of life. Our medical experts are confident that he'll be okay without his toes, but he'll still need a bit of rehabilitation and guidance to compensate. We'll keep you posted on Henry's progress. Then there's Bella, the 2-year-old guinea pig who was admitted by his owners mainly due to allergies in late December. She had a huge cyst on her head, which almost looked like a second head. Not cancerous, but still needing to be removed.
Would have kept growing and would have caused pressure and pain, and it would have gotten infected sooner or later.
So off to surgery Bella went, and it's rare for us to do an operation of this type on a guinea pig.
She wouldn't be adoptable otherwise, or if we did adopt her out and somebody had was willing to take her, she would have pain at some point due to the cyst, so we can take it out and then she won't have any pain, and then she's adoptable. Someone can give her a home.
The surgery went very well, and sweet Bella recovered quickly, and then went into foster care to recover before she'll be placed up for adoption. She'll be ready for a new family and new love, not even realizing just how lucky she is. And of course, we will keep you posted on these two adorable animals. Stay with us. We're going to have a short break. Coming up, we'll tell you how to keep your pets occupied in the wintertime so they don't get cabin fever. We'll be right back.
I was afraid of that.
Well, guess it's time to get you fixed.
Your pets will start fooling around sooner than you think.
Go on, get out of here!
Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
Welcome back. There is an ever-growing crisis all across North America dealing with homeless cats in the community. Essentially, so many out there that it is so difficult to manage. The Edmonton Humane Society has been struggling with this for years, but we are innovative. We're coming up with creative ways constantly to help the thousands that are homeless in the community. Because of this crisis, the Canadian Federation of Humane Societies recently published the Cats in Canada report, an extensive look at this crisis. Here is our Operations HR Manager, Stephanie Walsh, to talk about what all of this means here.
Well, the findings were not startling from what those that work in animal welfare, already know, that there's a huge cat overpopulation problem across the country. It is continuing to grow. It's not abating in any way whatsoever. Shelters like ours here in Edmonton are working very diligently to address the population problem, but there's so many of us dealing with so many cats that the problem continues to grow. So one of the obvious connections that we found in this survey is that spay-neuter and access to affordable spay-neuter, plus the spay-neuter that's happening in shelters across the country before adoption, is a critical piece to addressing the problem.
Okay, yeah, and this is really helpful for other shelters that may not be in the position like ourselves to be ready to tackle it. And we, as you said, have been very proactive in dealing with this crisis for quite some time. So let's talk about some of the things that the Edmonton Humane Society has been doing.
Well, obviously, spaying and neutering pets before we place them for adoption is a key component. We are not contributing to the problem when we do that. ID is another big thing. We have to ensure that every animal that leaves our facility is microchipped, because permanent ID ensures that your animal has a really good opportunity to get home if they are ever lost. Those two pieces the report found were key, and so many shelters across the country are still not there yet, either because of financial issues or they're just not in that place where they can do that. So they need to adopt some of the practices that we have here and in other progressive shelters to help work away at the problem.
And you also mentioned one of the findings is that there's a problem for people that may not be able to afford to spay neuter. Another thing we've been proactive about.
Well, that's it. Many years ago, shelters across the country that started into that proactive movement realized that spay neutering early on before the adoption was key. 20 years ago, the honor system was used, vouchers were used, and they still are used, but they're not as effective as ensuring that animals are spayed or neutered prior to adoption. And here at EHS, we've been doing it for years.
And we have the Prevent Another Litter subsidy program.
And that's a big piece. The other item that the report found was that people don't have access to spay-neuter services that are affordable to them. And a lot of the cats that are being reproduced are with people who are maybe at a lower income. So they need to have access to spay-neuter. And clinics like what we have through the PALS program and similar ones happening in other municipalities across the country are really good examples. And one of the next steps in this report is to take on a committee that will look at spay, neuter, and access to it and some of the models out there like EHS and the impact that we're having in the community.
Okay, so obviously we have been doing a lot, but we obviously are on top of that, ready to learn from this report and do more. What more do we need to do?
Well, so much of it is about education, really. I think once you understand the problems, we need to educate the public. We often say that we spend a lot of time talking about the benefits of adopting from shelters, the benefits to spay neuter, but it's got to be more than talking. And I think collectively, it's not just our organization, it's us in concert with the municipalities, our rescue organizations, the trap neuter return groups. Cat overpopulation is a community problem, and we all have to work together to try to solve it.
And then what about for the average cat owner out there watching? What is your main message for them after being part of this report?
Probably the biggest individual thing you could do as a person is ensure your pet is spayed and neutered so you are not contributing to the problem.
And then, of course, pass it on to others as well.
Tell everyone you know.
Thanks so much.
You're very welcome.
Your pet is getting into a lot of trouble lately, or maybe pawing at you a little more than usual. Chances are it's bored. Maybe you haven't had the same amount of time in the winter months to spend with them as you do in the summertime. It can be a little difficult, but we can help. One of our behavior specialists, Belinda Wagner, now shares with you some crucial and very beneficial tips to help prevent your animal from getting cabin fever.
It's actually amazing how much we can enrich our animals indoors, especially when it's in the -30, -40. A lot of people don't know, for cats specifically, some cats need 30 minutes of mental and physical stimulation a day. So how do you do that? We've got some ideas. We've got some store-bought things. There's the classic catnip. And you don't want to use catnip too much because it can make cats a little bit crazy. And you certainly don't want to leave it out so the cat gets bored of it. You want to put it out for a little bit and then put it away. The kind of cat teasers we like for their prey drive are ones on a wand that are away from your hands. Because remember, any behavior that's reinforced stays, and behaviors that are not reinforced go away. So if you allow them to play with your hands, then eventually they're going to scratch and bite your hands. So use a toy at a distance and play with them. Then we have this great new toy, and this is really kind of creepy cute for cats. It's this little battery operated critter. Cats just love this kind of thing, and again, this is supervised play only, and make sure you put it away. The benefit is cats are natural predators, so they need things that move and they need to trap them. Some people don't have a lot of money, so you can make some fun enrichment toys at home. Again, don't leave them out, use them for supervised play, something like a pipe cleaner. Cats actually love if you just wrap it around your fingers a few times and throw it on the ground. Wrap it around your fingers and throw it on the ground. Really inexpensive cat toys. For dogs, of course, lots of people like taking them outside, but some dogs, they're a little bit fussy about going outside. We always want to do some mental and physical stimulation for the dogs. We have some great products available in our store. If you've got a dog that eats quickly, we have these things where you put their supper inside it and they have to work to get it out. So it gets them to slow down their eating and works their mind while they're eating. We've also got this dog treat maze, and trust me, I've got a dog that can destroy everything. And this has been the toy that stood up the longest for me. And she's a pit bull, and they've got to turn and spin and flip it to get the treats out. Again, and supervised only. We've got a great, very inexpensive book, $6, Mind Games for Dogs. It gives you some good exercises to practice with your dogs. Now I'm going to show you something you can do with just some plastic cups and some treats. What we do is we have 3 cups, any kind of cups you want that won't break, and you're going to put some really tasty treats under just one of them and get your dog out of the room while you're doing this. And then come in and just say, find it, and have them figure out which cup to find the treats under. Amazingly simple, but really effective. Another simple mind game for a dog is the touch command. So you get to be a bit of a magician, and you get to put your treat in your hand like this, and you say touch, and then release the treat. And eventually it becomes as quick as this. Touch, yes. Touch, yes. Touch, yes. Tildy, touch, yes. Touch, yes. And a spin, yes. Very simple things you can do. Some are store-bought. Hopefully you'll come to the shelter to get your tips on pet enrichment. We also have training classes to help keep you motivated and keep your dog and cat enriched. So give us a call. We've got the behavior hotline. You know where to reach us, 491-3521.
Welcome back. Now we focus on someone who is not directly part of the Edmonton Humane Society organization, but someone who has a strong connection at a high level. His name is James Wilkes, and he's currently the Director of Pest Management and Animal Control at the Edmonton Humane Society. James came recently to Edmonton from Saskatchewan in a similar type of role there, and he brings with us a huge breadth of knowledge and a history of collaboration. Our CEO, Stephanie McDonald, is very keen to be working with James at the high level as the two of them strategize how to work together to help homeless animals. Here is a discussion I had with him recently.
James, you've been in this role how long now?
Well, I came over beginning of June was when I moved across to the city of Edmonton.
Okay, what brought you to Edmonton?
The opportunity to kind of work at establishing or moving some of the success we had with the city of Saskatoon and animal services there, bringing that over to Edmonton and seeing if we can enhance the program and achieve similar success here, build a relationship with the community, and of course bring more animals to Forever Homes.
And it's really convenient that both buildings, both organizations are so close.
That's right. I mean, it's unique. We certainly never had it where I was in Saskatoon. This offers a lot of opportunity to work together, to share resources on sometimes on an emergency basis, where we have extra kennel space and we can help the Edmonton Humane Society out, or vice versa, where we're working together to accomplish the same goals.
So just to make sure everybody understands the different roles and responsibilities with the city, that is your group, right, obviously, dealing with stray animal management,
right,
and then the animals then are sent over to us for adoption.
That's right. With the city of Edmonton, really, we're handling animals that are at large. Technically, when we pick them up, we don't own them. There's a period that we'll hold the animal for, and after that, it does become the city's property, and that's where we transfer it over to the Humane Society, because we are not an adoption agency. We're simply a safekeeping facility, and we want to get them into the hands of the people who actually carry out the adoptions.
And aside from that, there's also the partnership of dealing with larger issues. For example, pets left in vehicles. Of course, the city, your group, has many more peace officers than we have, just a few. Although we're known for responding to that sort of thing because we're dealing with animals in distress and that, your officers, your people work well with ours out in the field occasionally.
That's right. I mean, our officers are focused on enforcing the bylaw and working in that regard, and of course with the dispatch capabilities that we have and the ability to have more officers on scene, we certainly can complement the efforts of the Edmonton Humane Society in enforcing the Animal Protection Act.
So yeah, it's not a matter of cutting down a line and saying you do your thing, we do our thing. You need to work together.
We do. We really do. It's the whole collaboration thing between the city and the various groups within the community. It's critical. You can't succeed without working together. I learned that in Saskatoon, where the only way to really achieve any kind of significant success is by leaning and learning from each other, working together to common outcomes such as rehoming animals or subsidized spay and neuter. All those things collaboration is the only way to really accomplish that. There's so many different expertises out there. No one organization has them all. No one organization has resources to accomplish everything that's necessary. Together we can accomplish more. And I know we did it in Saskatoon, and I'm really hoping we can duplicate that here.
So what are any thoughts off the top of your head for 2013 with the Edmonton Humane Society and the City of Edmonton's Animal Care and Control?
Well, for 2013, I know we certainly want to continue to pursue the whole spay and neuter initiative. That's really critical. We want to get animals that are ready for adoption because they're spay and neutered. We want to also help the community through helping those who can't afford to get them spay and neutered. The less animals out there that can reproduce unwanted litters, the better off our whole community is.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Every month we take you directly to our shelter store at the Edmonton Humane Society called Bingo's Pet Shop to show you all the trendy new items that come in every month, and we connect with the store supervisor Nadine Johnson. Let's take a look at what's new this month.
Nadine, we're in the middle of winter, a lot of things happening around in the community, still the winter weather. You have a way to keep people stylish at the same time.
You betcha. We brought in some hoodies for the people variety. They got our logo down the side here with our website and our logo there, and they're very warm and reasonably priced, so come on down, try them on.
And you have a variety of sizes too, and styles.
Absolutely.
And colors.
I thought of everybody this time.
Right, super. What else do you have here for people?
I got some really cool, well, it's an in thing with the younger generation. They're the bracelets. I'm wearing one too because I really like them myself. They're just something stylish, and they are all about pets. Please spay and neuter and peace, love, and yeah, very cool.
All right, stay trendy at the same time.
You betcha.
And another one, this is for people too.
Yes, we have tons of car magnets. The company has now come out with the window cling, so if you're worried about people stealing, as they do, the magnets have been disappearing off vehicles, these are the things you can put inside your window to promote us as well.
All right. I love my cats. I love my dog and adopt.
There's lots of variety. This is a small selection, absolutely.
Good. And then what do you have here as well?
This is something I've carried for a long time, but I don't think very many people know about it. It's an active dog first aid kit. It's even got CPR instructions for your pet. And if anybody is going to purchase this for their cat, I will make sure I photocopy and get them the cat CPR instructions.
Okay, because this particular one is for dogs.
And they haven't made one for cats yet, but it's got the same kind of stuff you would need for a cat, but no instructions for CPR.
And that's so important because you just never know when there is an emergency, and this is really good. And I bet you that they're very popular as well.
Absolutely. I haven't really told anybody much about them, but I've been selling them very well as well, even though nobody knows about them. So,
Nadine, tell me about one main thing that a lot of people keep asking you about Bingo's here at the Edmonton Humane Society.
We are not a locally owned pet store. We are part of the shelter. We're staff here at the shelter. Everything we do here is for the animals as well. So when you buy here, you're basically donating to the shelter.
So helping us at the same time as getting some great items.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Nadine.
Thank you, Shauna.
And here's another way that you can help the Edmonton Humane Society, especially if you are a hockey fan. The Edmonton Oil Kings are planning a great fundraiser for the Edmonton Humane Society. Head down to their game against Prince George on Family Day. That's February the 18th at 2 p.m. If you get tickets from the Edmonton Humane Society, the proceeds come to our animals. So head down here to the shelter at 136th Avenue and 163rd Street, and you can purchase the tickets, $25, and then proceeds again come to the Edmonton Humane Society. And during that game, there's also the Chuck-a-Puck event, and proceeds from that come to our shelter as well. So that's February the 18th. Get your tickets now, and please support the Edmonton Humane Society. So we are now at the end of our January-February Edmonton Humane Society podcast show, How a Half an Hour Flies. Coming up in our next show, how we are dedicated to helping animals stay at the Edmonton Humane Society, stay comfortable, and specifically the cats. We will tour the shelter for you and show you the elements in the building that are really geared toward making the cats comfortable as they wait for their forever home. And we'll also tell you all about our behavior programs to help keep them active. So a combination of the building and behavior enrichment programs, as we call it. That is all at the next Edmonton Humane Society podcast show. So Please tune in to catch that and much, much more. Thank you so much to Evan Adnams for donating his technical directing time and his labor to be able to bring this show to you, and for Shaw Television for airing the show for us every month at no cost. We really appreciate that dedicated support. And please take note of what we're doing all the time on social media. We have a strong presence on social media. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and all our videos on YouTube. Thank you for watching, everyone. Join us again next time.